My friend, we gonna go to Sonic, always. Give me a cherry Sprite. Then I'm good.
Bro, Connor, they're bringing out pickled flavored slushies or like ices at Sonic.
That's gonna be fucking disgusting, but okay. You said that. This fucking default ran in his room and said, "Oh, hello there."
Sounds like something Connor would say. Oh, hello there. I forgot what glitch it was Tifu found out though. Tifu found out about one exploit. But he finds out about every one of them. I should get the katana tonight.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Play. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, let me talk to you. Come on. Drink what's up? Smoke one, huh? Fine, gentlemen. Hey.
Okay.
Come on. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I think his connection just timed out. Or that I'm on a 200. Alright there.
Oh, oh my God, help. Let that man go
We
back.
good now.
Oh, quit letting that man do that. You don't know what to do. Okay. Bro, what?
Alright, let me sit in my...
Ah, girly.
nigga. This shit. Hey! Whoa! Whoa! No! No! Ah! Hey! 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 Yeah! 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 Wow, nigga. Yeah, then just last time I popped. No, this is lagging. Oh, it's top gun again. Oh, that was so. That was
What?
so. Too easy. Too easy.
Connor went to bed. I don't know what it is. Bro, stop. Oh, no, default skin. Oh my god. Let's go, bro.
Bro, that was nasty. Brady.
What?
I put my beef stew back in the microwave because it was still cool, like a little cold.
What?
And then
You
I
put your
go to
what?
pee and I come back, my beef stew in the microwave for a minute because it was still a little cold.
Yeah?
And then I went to pee and I come back in the living room and I look at the TV. I just see a fucking big ass bird get ran over by a car. It was, oh my fucking god, it's so nasty.
The way Connor says it though. I killed another person with my trap. That's what you do in this game mode, Connor. You place a bunch of traps in your room, and people just run right into them. What? Oh my gosh, bro, stop moving. You know what? You're getting rushed for moving. Then you got freaking Bob the Builder. Ow. Yeah, trap's still there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm going off on people. And I'm a literal young god. People don't play smart in this game mode though, that's the thing about it though. People don't play smart. They just sit there and try to put like traps and like turrets down and just try to spray you with them. I shot. Yeah, my teammates are bad. Connor, what do you play on? Like, do you sit in a chair or do you sit on? Yeah. I mean, really, it's kind of stupid not to sit in a chair to play. I'm gonna watch YouTube till Ben gets back on.
Today, Carlito is going back to the Paulista University in Sao Paulo, where he hopes to get a new face for his thesis that will allow him to hold his head up high.
O objetivo destas reabilitações não só é tirar a lição, deixar um defeito, não é fazer a prótese. É reintegrar a pessoa na sociedade. Curioso, então, né, gente? Já tá até me dando arrepio. É isso aí.
It's the moment of truth. Carlito can now see the results for himself.
Sou eu mesmo? Ficou zerada 100%.
Lancaster is a city in the state of California, 70 miles to the north of Los Angeles. It's home to Sylvia Corridon.
Okay, I'm coming.
She's a devoted mother of two who spends her days and nights tirelessly struggling to relieve the suffering of her eldest son, Nicky.
Hi, baby. How's it going?
20-year-old Nicky has spent his life wrapped up in bandages to prevent the skin on his entire body from falling off. But he's currently undergoing groundbreaking medical treatment that could turn his life around.
My skin is really fragile, so I can't really bump into things or scratch too hard and stuff.
Pressure, the skin comes right off, leaving behind a second-degree burn like boom, and this is everywhere. Even when I touch him, he gets hurt. It's just basically hell for him. I hear him screaming all the time.
With his incurable condition deteriorating as he gets older, Nicky rarely leaves his home and is now confined to a wheelchair.
How's that? 10 years ago, he could walk, and now he's just sitting at the computer. Do you guys playing together? Or no, not yet?
Like many young men, Nicky loves computer games, which he plays as often as possible with his younger brother, Connor.
Blow it up, yeah. What are them more headshots? Come on, man.
I mean, his life is around video games, so...
Takes my mind off of everything.
Wait until
Life
Ben gets
expectancy
back
of
on.
EV
It's
sufferers
12:30.
is severely
So
reduced, mostly due to the condition developing into malignant skin cancer. So every
Oh, no.
night, Sylvia has to change Nicky's bandages to try to prevent his wounds from...
I was home alone one night during winter break. I was watching TV in our sunroom, which is like a smaller living room type space, which we use as a TV and movie room.
yeah.
There was also a door to the side driveway in this room. I had all the blinds shut and was under a blanket, watching some random movie I don't even remember, when out of nowhere, the lights turn on outside. We have a motion sensing light out there, so the fact that it turned on was concerning. I had to lower the volume on the TV to listen up for any possible sounds. It was unlikely I'd hear anything from outside, though, so I lifted the blinds briefly just to do a quick check. It was clear. There was no way that I know of to shut off that light, so as annoying as it was, I just had to wait. I figured it was a raccoon or a possum or something that might have triggered the light.
I watched 3 horrific stories that happened while playing Fortnite. I mean, I've watched channels like this, you know, where it's like scary, but not this dude.
I'm sure by now we all know what Fortnite is. I had known about it for the longest time, but I never actually played it until my friends basically forced me to download it and play with them. They wanted to play in squads, which is what it's called when you play in groups of 4. My 4 friends were
Or
Evan,
3.
Xavier, and Braxton. Evan was hands down the best player and basically the initiator of this group match. Xavier was the second best. Then there was Braxton. Braxton only spoke on his headset when he was in trouble or needed help. Evan, Xavier, and I, on the other hand, just goofed around and talked the whole time. The 2 of them did their best to explain how to play to me over the headset. Anyway, none of this really matters. I'll skip ahead to the important part. Evan stopped talking, and there was a good 10 seconds of silence. Then, Evan, who was leading us from one point to another, stopped dead in his tracks. His character just stood still for a while. Xavier turned on his headset, sounding annoyed, telling Evan to move. His character still just stood in place, and Evan said nothing, but according to the screen, Evan's mic was making noise. Then I could hear background noise that seemed to be coming from Evan's mic. Xavier, Braxton, and I were all telling Evan to move or we'd ditch him. But we all dropped silent when a horrific, almost painfully loud screaming came from Evan's mic. It wasn't like he was screaming into the mic. It seemed like Evan was somewhere in the background of the room. Then, a door slammed shut in the background, and the 3 of us were left not knowing what to say or do.
What?
I told the 2 of them I'd call Evan immediately, and turned off the console. I tried calling him 5 times. He never picked up, though, so I decided to drive over to his house, which was 2 minutes away. I got to his house and saw no cars in the driveway, but the front door was open and the lights were on throughout the house. I let myself in, screaming Evan's name. Evan screamed back from somewhere upstairs. I followed the sound of his voice right up to the loft bedroom, where I found him hiding under the bed. He told me to hide. I told him to get out from under the bed and tell me what happened. He said there was someone in his bedroom. He would speak in very limited sentences for the longest time, until he knew what else to do. When they showed up, we didn't know what to expect from them. 2 cops actually showed up. The male officer went inside of the house and looked around, while the female officer stayed with us outside with a small pocket notebook in her hand, writing down what Evan described to her. And just like that, the cops left. I stayed over Evan's house that night just to make him feel better. We all still play Fortnite together. I'm much better now.
Bro, what? That's so scary, bro.
I've never been a huge Fortnite person, but all my friends have been for a while. I always feel like I'm being left out when they're saying to jump up and such.
That's how I seem whenever I play with y'all, Connor.
I'm just not good at the game. So one Monday night, I hopped on the game and played alone just to practice. I did that over and over and over, until I started actually getting pretty decent at the game. Then I started to play the game with other players. Not my friends, just random people online. I played a game of duos, meaning with one other person on my team.
Yeah, I think we know what Fortnite.
Bob Rocket 16 or something like that, with a few extra C's and E's or whatever. I didn't write it down. We lost the game. I think we ranked like number 20. After the game was over, I got a personal message from the guy, saying he thought I was really good and that we should play again. It was weird because, really, I didn't play too well at all that game. Nevertheless, I played another game with him. This time he turned on his microphone and was trying to talk to me. I don't have a gaming microphone, so I couldn't talk back. I could only hear him through the TV speakers. Based on his tone and what he was saying, he seemed to be getting annoyed that I wasn't talking to him. I heard him say things like, "Put your mic on," and "Stop being a faggot." Any thought of this guy being cool was gone at this point, and I thought he was just a straight-up douche. I was going to finish the game, but after that, that was it with this guy. He kept saying stuff. most of it incoherent simply because of my distance to the TV and the noise of the actual game itself. But then I heard him say my name. Not just my first name, my full name. When I heard this, I panicked and thought to myself, wait, is my real name displayed on my profile? But I realized, no, it couldn't be. The guy kept saying things over the mic, but I wasn't listening at this point. I went over to the console and turned it off in a panic. Just knowing that the sound of the guy's voice was gone now made me sigh in relief. I texted my friends and told them about it. They didn't seem to think it was funny, typing their LOLs and LMAOs and whatnot. I put my phone down on the desk as I went on my laptop. The phone vibrated again. I expected it to be one of my friends, but it was an unknown number. The message was hi, and then my full name. I typed back, who is this? The typing bubbles with the 3 dots came up for the longest time. I waited anxiously to see what this person was going to say. The message was, is this your address? And then my actual address. I once again typed, who is this? And then I lied and typed, no, that isn't my address. The person never responded after that. I started accusing my friends of fucking with me. They all swore they had nothing to do with it, though. Low-key, I didn't believe them, but I didn't bother feeding into it. I figured if it is them, the more reaction I give, the more kicks they get out of it. I went to bed ignoring my friends. I woke up to something. I was almost positive I heard a noise. You know how sometimes a sound will wake you up, but you don't know what the sound was because you weren't awake yet to hear it? Well, that was me at this moment. I sat up looking around my room as anyone naturally would. My whole body jerked in startlement as there was a set of knocks on my window. Instead of looking to see who was out there like a man, I ran like a coward out of my room and to the nearest bathroom where I locked myself in. There were no windows in that bathroom, so I felt safe. I actually fell asleep in that bathroom, and when I woke up, I texted my friends again, telling them all to go fuck themselves. They all got a kick out of it, but when I saw them in person, they seemed pretty genuine when they told me they had nothing to do with it. To this day, I really don't know if my friends were pranking me, or if that guy who I was playing Fortnite with actually somehow got my information and came to my house. My 10-year-old son Chris had been playing that Fortnite game all day, every day for the past few months, and it had been driving me insane. I would scream at him to go out once in a while. Instead, all I heard was that sound of that bus honking its horn every 10 minutes, and constant gunshots coming from his room. Eventually one night at like 9 p.m., Chris came out of his room and shouted out to the kitchen that he was having someone over. I angrily asked him who. He said, some guy from Fortnite who lives around here. A fuse went off in my head as I heard this. Apparently he invited over some random person he was talking to on Fortnite. When I asked him how old, Chris shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't know, he sounds kind of old. I started to freak out, knowing some random stranger who was probably well older than my 10-year-old son was coming to my house. I locked all the doors and turned on all the porch lights. I told Chris to just keep playing his game in his room, and not to talk to anyone else. I waited around by the windows until a car pulled up in front of my house. It stopped, and the headlights turned off. The door opened, someone came out, and started walking up the pathway to my front door. I felt like my heart dropped into my stomach when I saw some middle-aged man, probably 40, mildly overweight, step into the light and then up the stairs to the front door. He rang the bell 3 times. I ignored it. Then he started pounding on the door for a bit. I ignored that as well. He walked down the stoop, looking up through the windows as he walked down the pathway. I made sure he couldn't see me. I thought for sure he'd go to his car and leave, but he went around to the side of my house, out of sight from the windows. He was actually going to my back door. I heard from around back the door being nudged, because he clearly tried to open it. I stayed put where I was. There were no other entry points to the house, so once he gave up, he would surely leave. When the noises from the back door stopped, I waited for 5 minutes in the kitchen, until I thought it was time to check. I wanted to hopefully get a look outside, so I shut the lights and lifted the blinds in the kitchen. There was the man's face, 2 inches from the glass, as he looked into the kitchen, or rather, he now looked at me. I screamed with a shake in my yell that I was calling the cops. I think that scared him off because he walked away, and I watched as he got in his car and left. I didn't call the cops though. Instead, I marched right to Chris's room and scolded him. I grounded him for 2 weeks for endangering not only the household, but himself. That meant no video games for 2 weeks, and after the 2 weeks, he would have to go 2 months without access to his wireless headset. Now that the 2 weeks are up, he's back on the game. I get sick to my stomach thinking about what would have happened if I wasn't home.
Okay. That's kind of creepy.
Number 15.
Yeah.
Photo.
This dude. I know this dude.
PC posted a scary Fortnite story on Reddit recently as a spine-tingling reminder that someone is always watching. His crazy story begins when he jumped on his computer first thing in the morning and saw that his webcam was on. Fortnite and Firefox were the only things open, and he'd only been watching YouTube in Firefox. So something seemed a bit off about this. After tilting his webcam up to ensure he was no longer being recorded, he downloaded a program which identified the processes that were using the webcam. What he found was chilling, a process called NCAPS blah 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 by NVIDIA, was controlling his webcam, and he had no idea what this software was. He killed the process and shut down the cam, but it wasn't over. In his own words, I proceeded to browse the web as per usual for a couple hours, then...